M&P, baby.
What's up, YouTube? TechShot87. Today we are doing the shooting review on the newer M&P 9C. Welcome to the channel, guys. We appreciate y'all watching. So yeah, we've done an initial review on this gun. Now it's time to take it to the range and shoot it. And man, did we have a blast with this thing. I found out a little bit newer information on the M&P and what they have done with this gun. So a lot of interesting stuff with the M&P. They've been out for quite a number of years, since 2006, and they have been very popular with civilian market and law enforcement. They've always had an Achilles heel, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. In the initial review, we talked about some of its unique features and showed you out of the box, initial impressions. This is a new color scheme for 2015, okay? But it's not the only thing that's different with this gun. This was actually my first gun, not this one. It was an all black version. But that was that was last year. And last year's model that I had was actually made in 2013. So like I said, this one is brand new for 2015, and some things they've done, they've actually added a little shelf back here for one-handed manipulations right there on your sights. The color scheme, like I said, the flat dark earth, I think it looks pretty dang good, to be honest with you. The way they accented the black with the flat dark earth with the black slide, it looks really good. They also have a carbon fiber version as well, and they've done this with the full size and the compact versions. But one of the biggest differences that I noticed right off the bat with this gun is the trigger. The trigger, you still hear some kind of grit or something going on with the trigger, but it hits a really nice wall and a clean break. One thing that has plagued the M&P has been the inconsistency in the trigger, also the lack of an audible reset, but now you have a reset. Clean break. You notice a little nub on the bottom of the trigger, prevents your over travel, and reset. Alright, so I started doing some research. A couple of y'all have actually contacted me about this, contacted Smith & Wesson. So the story on what I've been able to gather is there has definitely been a change for 2015 with this trigger. It was supposed to be after the introduction of the Shield, which had a much better trigger than what the M&P has seen before. But there is definitely something different for 2015. Some articles have stated that Smith & Wesson is now doing an enhanced trigger on their entire M&P line. Smith & Wesson, when we called them, said that it was just a replacement with the sear. Now, replacing the sear can do a lot of good things, but it kind of brings up the question: are they just kind of keeping it under wraps because of, you know, all the people that have complained about this trigger? I'm not sure. I'm just saying I thought it was pretty interesting. There's definitely something different with this trigger, though, and I think you're going to see that in the shooting. Couple of key features: it does have these awesome slide serrations, 3-dot setup on the sights, very nice, very easy to pick up. They are adjustable for windage. It's very similar in size to the next gun that we're going to be reviewing. This is the XD Mod 2. You can tell the XD Mod 2 actually does have a shorter barrel, so that's where that length is coming from up there. But in general, thickness, they're pretty dang close. Grip sizes, we'll do it like this so you can see, but it's pretty similar. Now the XD does hold one more round, but you can see it is pretty close in size to the XD. That'll be our next review, by the way. So the M&P has gone through an entire change. The cosmetics of it pretty much have looked the same since the beginning, but there has been some changes, at least since the Shield. Now, you've always had the Performance Center, Smith & Wesson's. that are just amazing. Apparently, I've never ran one, but apparently they make a world of difference. But it looks like, from what I gather from at least this pistol, this example, that M&P is going in the right direction. And you know, you have a big thing with M&P, especially M&P and Glock owners. Glock owners say their triggers are amazing, you don't have to do anything out of the box. M&P say, well, my M&P is amazing once you put an Apex trigger in. So you have this kind of back and forth thing. It's kind of silly, but I think that the M&P, what they've done, Smith & Wesson has done with the M&P, has allowed you to at least get a decent out of the box trigger, and still one of the most handsome guns on the market, I believe, in my opinion. So not perfect, and you're gonna see that here in the shooting. The trigger is not perfect. It's got this split kind of trigger thing. So let's go ahead and go to the shooting, and then we will finish this video up, and I will tell you each pro and con as I see it, and what you can expect if you want to pick one of these up. 9C, we're going to start at 5 yards. Start with the flush 12-round magazine.
Good job, eh? Oh, but it messed up. Got a jam on us, guys.
Yeah, one double feed there.
Yeah, when I found that online.
First malfunction of the gun.
That was it. Who did you buy it from?
Oh, they're hitting my toe.
10%. They got yeah, they got the Ruger small one. That's why I was get a box of she's carrying it all the time, everywhere. She takes it out, she puts it on her head.
Nice.
What you carry weapons? What you on your carry weapons? What do you carry?
So that's 8 plus 1.
8 plus 1. Actually, everybody makes the thing is fine.
I've got the RIPs that have they've got little chainsaws on the tip. Yeah.
Needs more than me.
There you go.
So these will work in my shield.
That's the bullet for your shield. See, that bullet is made for.
See? Where you shoot? Top right. Nice, man.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. As you see, M&P is a shooter, man. And, you know, even though it was my first gun that I ever purchased last year, I didn't do too well with my first M&P I had. And I can tell you, this upgrade, whatever they've done, whether it's just a sear or whatever, has really made a difference in the shooting of this gun. You know, no matter what you say, the trigger is so important, and I'm really impressed with what they've done. So let me show you some of the targets from the M&P. You can see right here, this was just me shooting at normal speed, not trying to get a very good group, but it actually turned out being pretty nice. Let me show you the targets underneath here. All right, you can see Jenny's first set of shots here. She had a really nice grouping in here. She pulled a couple, but the gun just did very well. And then here was my first set of shots, all right there in that area. Here was the hex shot test. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had like 5 or 6 right there. So very good accuracy out of the M&P, I think, for what this gun is. The recoil is just super nice. Now it is a little bit bigger of a gun, it's a little bit thicker, so inside the waistband you're gonna feel a lot more. The weight on this one is like almost 24 ounces unloaded, so you're not talking about a lightweight inside the waistband. But if I decide to keep this one, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try a shoulder holster system for this. Never tried it, always wanted to, and I think this would be a good gun to start with. The sights pick up really great. I had no issues. I didn't have to adjust anything. Alright, so one little quirky thing with the M&P that I found is not really in the shooting part of it, but just in the disassembly. You can rotate, or I'm sorry, you can lock the slide back to the rear. You can do this one of two ways. You have a little tool built into the frame here. You just rotate it and pull it out like that. There's a little yellow tab in there, if you can see that, and you can either push that down or you can just rotate your lever down, pull the trigger. But one thing I found with this gun, when you put it back together, put your slide on, and you'll notice that this lever wants to rotate on you automatically. So basically you push it on and it wants to stop right there. Push this forward, disengages the slide, pushes it forward again. So a little bit annoying. So what I found is you just really have to yank on this thing just like that, and it's going to come right in battery. Just something I've noticed with this gun. Put the little frame tool back in. We did have that one malfunction around 50 or so. It was a double feed, so we did have that malfunction. And what I did is we took it out a couple times and just see how it did each time. And other than that one little hiccup, it's done pretty good. So The grip texture on it, when you start to actually shoot it, this grip texture does not do a lot as far as, you know, keeping that good grip. I've noticed when my hands start to sweat, this really gets pretty slippery in there. So of course Talon grips will mitigate a lot of that. Also, when I'm loading the mags, really I only load it to round 11, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here right now. When you have a fully loaded magazine like this one, inserting it into the pistol with the slide closed, you get this number kind of similar to what the shield does. You really got to pop that magazine in. Of course, if the slide is open and you're actually doing a mag change, it's not going to be an issue. But I noticed just when I'm loading this for the day, I keep it in my truck. If I put 12 rounds in there, you really got to jam it home. So to make it a little bit easier, I also can see that as being maybe an issue if you have a round chambered, you know what I'm saying, and you have this full magazine. I don't want there to be any kind of chance of a malfunction. So I've been loading them at 11, and you can see how much easier it is. Just something minor. It happens with quite a few guns. I've noticed that will happen, but something I wanted to point out here. But let's talk about the pros and cons real quick. I got a loaded mag here for a reason. The pros, like I said, it shoots well. M&Ps are generally reliable, so I don't think that's too much of an issue at all. The trigger is a much improvement and needed thing for the M&P line. Although they're very popular, I don't think there's a need to run out and jump and replace this stock trigger anymore, and I think that's a great thing. It feels great in the hand. A lot of guns feel really good, but with this 18-degree grip angle, it feels great. And when somebody says a gun points naturally, I mean literally you bring this gun up and it seems like it's right on point each and every time. So I really love that. Accessories and aftermarket for M&P, because they've been so huge, is out there. So if you want to replace sights and trigger kits and whatever you want to do, it's out there and available for the gun. The magazines are available. Lifetime warranty through Smith, which is always great and is made right here in America, so that is a bonus as well. And it's a good example of an American-made gun. Stainless steel slide and barrel, stainless steel components in here, lifetime warranty. It is a good, solid gun that's going to last a long time. Now the cons. This gun is not the most refined gun, and I've talked about that with the Shield. I've talked about that in the initial review. The M&P line has never been the easiest gun to rack or the easiest gun on anything, you know. Like we talk about with the disassembly that I showed you and reassembly, little quirks like that kind of bother me. So it is a little bit stiff when you're pulling the slide back. These serrations, although I see them more as a benefit, without gloves on, you really feel these fish scales biting in your hand. It's pretty aggressive right there. Can be a negative for some people, so I figured I would mention that. Disassembly, reassembly, like we talked about, is a little bit quirky and slippery when wet. This grip texture, although it looks nice and it's a good feel in the hand, once you start shooting and your hands start sweating, the texture on this gun is pretty much non-existent. So those are some of the pros and cons as I see it of this gun. I would recommend this gun very high. If we were going on a scale, I'd say this is like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. It is that good. So in general, I think this is a great option. It is it is almost the same size as far as like grip length with the Shield, which is interesting. I'm not going to chamber around, by the way. So when it comes to concealed carry, if you're looking at these two options, we're going to have a video with these two guns, by the way. But you'll notice with the Shield, the grip length is actually taller. So if you're using the flat-based magazine, this is actually going to be a little bit easier to conceal but a little bit harder to carry because of your width. So, you know, that's something that you're going to give up. Like I said, I'm going to do a video with those two guns here coming up soon, but like I said, I really like what they've done with the M&P. To me, it's never been the most refined gun. It's never the easiest gun. When you're racking it, it's just not the most refined piece. But for the value and what you get, I think it's one of the best options. And the fact that they've done some with the trigger. And they've done a good job with the trigger. I picked this one up for 460 bucks. They've actually put a decent trigger in it. You have a very handsome piece, a reliable piece. So I think it's a very great option. If you want one with the thumb safety, it comes that way as well. So you have options, and you don't have to drop another 150 bucks when you buy a new M&P. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe for future videos. We got a lot coming. We appreciate all the support. We will see you next time. And as always, hold them down.